thank you for having me today. Really excited. Resilience of the Asia cruise industry. We've been hearing yesterday, and we will hear today, that even though that at the moment the situation is in a hold, there is potential. If you go out, you see people smiling, and you see this around the world. And to me, it's very important to understand and move forward. As Ioannis said, I'm Ioannis. I'm CEO of 5 Sense Consulting. We're a boutique cruise development company based in Europe. In the past 2 years, we have helped more than 55, actually, ports around the world with the protocols and procedures and help them to resume the business. We have helped governments, we have helped cruise lines, but everything we worked in the past 2 years has to do with resumption and move forward. I used the same slide yesterday, but basically, you know, we want what we want. We want the best and safest travel experience. And this is something we need to understand if we are to move forward. And I want to put some statistics because this is very important. Up to date, we have 389 ships sailing, more than 90 brands sailing at the moment, with an average capacity of those 90 cruise brands at the moment at 1522. Big and small ships, this is the average. These are the berths, and capacity-wise, not passenger-wise, we expect to have about 29.7 million. It won't be this number, but this is the capacity. And we're expecting, as of July, 86 new vessels to be delivered by 2028. And the reason I'm saying this is very important. If you do your analysis and what's happening around the world, which companies are getting new ships, this is important so you can understand what will happen in your region. 26 ships this year and 22 ships next year. A few of them with LNG, and this is something to understand and consider for your future operations. As we go and understand the capacity a little bit, the contemporary, the premium, and the luxury situation, 69, 22 and a half, and 8 and a half, just to understand where we stand in terms of each cruise line category. Your port, your destination should attract according to what you have in your capacity, in terms of your characteristics. You should target one of these categories or all of them. In terms of the Asia statistics, just want to point out that, okay, this is the data we had. They might not be proven to be correct because of the situation, but we expect to reach in 2023, if everything goes well, the same number of ships as we had from approximately 2017. And just to understand, this is the progression in the years to come in terms of ships. So if everything goes well in the region, we should expect to see about 49 ships in 2027. And this is very encouraging for the area. Just to continue, this is 3 slides with contemporary, premium, and the luxury market. You can see the number of ships that we expect to be deployed in the following years, and these new numbers are important so you can do your calculations and you can attract your business. In terms of setting your port objective, and this is very important for me, I say it all the time, one objective: exceed guest satisfaction on purpose every time, but also be in consideration with safety in the destination. When you have set this target and you follow, you have a plan, a strategy to follow this objective, to exceed satisfaction, you're doing great. If not, you need to reevaluate your port objective. Okay, the COVID effect, which we still feel in this area. What we know that the cruise industry is overcoming the biggest challenge yet, is restructuring and is implementing changes that makes us stronger and more proactive. Yes, it was a big hiccup, let me call it that, for the last 2 years. And a lot of things has changed, a lot of things has evolved, but in many places around the world, in the US, in Europe, in Canada, in Australia now, situation has changed. We're moving forward. We have protocols in place, we have rules in place, everybody plays by the rules. We're doing business nearly as normal as we can, and this is something we need to understand. there's 4 things that we need to do in terms to be able to restart. First of all is the government, or whoever's in charge. This is the health authorities, this is the Minister of Tourism, this is the Minister of Fishery or Health, but they need to understand and take a step forward. Obviously, the cruise lines with their health protocols, the ports with the implementation of any national protocols and decision on core capacity. We have many, many examples now. You know, when we are starting back in 2020, the cruises in Greece, we did not have any knowledge. Now we do. So you need to go out in the world and ask the cruise lines how they do it in other places, communicate and build your system, and obviously operations. There's new procedures for the ports they need to follow, but now they have examples, good examples, new technology that is helping, and this is something which is much easier now and as it was 2 years ago. A lot of national health guidelines, the CDC, the EU Health Gateways, IMO, ECDC. So what this means is that somebody has already done a major part of the work. So examples are out there, rules are out there. What I think needs to be done is to evaluate them, make them fit for your region, and put them on a piece of paper, agree with them, talk to the cruise lines, and the cruise lines will follow the rules. You know, they are resilient, and they've been thriving in developing their own very strict protocols, which allowed the passengers to embark in much worse situations than they are now. We should not forget about that. So, I mean, I put a couple of examples here in terms of diagrams. These are all my own infographics, which I use to assist the EU Health Gateways, but a cruise restart decision must happen at a point. From Korea, from Japan, from China, I said, this is the date we will be starting, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and these are the rules we play with. Either you follow them or you don't follow them. But as far as the cruise port, because we are here, most of us are ports, you need to understand and create a generic checklist on how you're going to do your embarkation, how you're going to do your disembarkation, what happens with COVID cases, if they stay on board or if they go on land, and a number of things that you need to do. Are you doing pre-screening? Are you doing the operation procedure you need to check, et cetera, et cetera. This is if you analyze it, it's not so difficult to understand. Yes, you might need to add some signage and some procedures in your port or your terminal or your facilities, but this is something which has happened now globally, so it should not be a problem. I have a case study because I wanted to express this, because you need to create your own opportunities. In February, 14th of February 2020, we're in the peak of COVID, people were dying, people were in difficulty, people were not traveling. The Greek Minister of Tourism announced that in 15th of May, 3 months later, tourism will reopen in Greece, cruising will reopen in Greece. And all the protocols and procedures were ready, and they were communicating with the cruise lines and the passengers, of course. And what we did a series of meetings with the heads of the cruise lines and said, these are the rules. Are you with us? We will provide you with vaccines. We will provide you COVID hotels for your passengers. And you know what happened? Cruise lines came to Greece. And Greece was one of the first countries around the globe that received cruises in 2020. We closed the year with a small number of cruise ships, but with great experience then. And in 2021, it was even better. We offered, as I said, the COVID hotels and everything. And at the moment, the level of vaccination in all touristic places is over 95%. They did a very aggressive vaccination program for everybody in Greece, but especially in touristic places, in priority, which assisted, to ease the travelers' opinions of what's happening in the destination. So the safety of the cruise passengers is equally important as the safety of the locals. And in 2022, to this stuff today, we have a record year. A record year in the number of ships who are coming to Greece. Not passengers, but ships. Passengers capacity is still about 75 to 80%, but that's okay. We expect in 2023 to be an even better year for Greece. and the region, because Greece is not alone, and Turkey, and Malta, and Israel, and Cyprus. So all the surrounding area is benefiting about this. Collaboration. You know, the health authorities in any region need to synchronize their health protocols and work together. It's going to be very difficult, and it was difficult in the beginning when the Italian authorities were saying, okay, we will accept a rapid test, and the Greek authorities said, we will accept only PCR test. Yeah, after a couple of weeks, they synchronized, and this is what needs to happen here, if you need to move forward. Tourism is 25% of the Greek GDP. In Italy, it's a bit less, but equally important. How important is tourism in your region? That's what you need to ask yourselves. Interoperability, very good word, new word, important word. Interoperability of each port in the itinerary with the cruise line plans. So the plans of the cruise lines must work together with the plans of the port, must work together with the plans of the government. And someone needs to synchronize all this and make sure that they work. Always, always the plans of the port go first. I'll go a bit quicker. When we need to have a winning strategy, and this is something now we go forward into resilience, we need to identify the strengths of our region and the weaknesses. We need to identify the segments that fit best for our cruise area. And we need to provide the information and education to the local industry and the local people. This is very important. Sometimes they don't understand the benefits. They don't understand that about 40 to 60% of the cruise passengers might return back as normal tourists. And this is something which we've seen it all around the world. Global destinations have been, like Santorini in Greece, has been made because of cruise. And we need to prepare an evaluation of the technical aspects of our destination, our port, the berths, the bollards, etc. And of course, we need a budget for all this, and we need to determine the project leader. We need someone to thrive and take charge of the situation and be responsible to communicate all this on behalf of your port. I always talk about the science and the art. The science has to do with all the port operation stuff, and we need to tick the box for itinerary and port operation people. And the art, what's the marketability of your destination? What is your shore excursions of your destinations? Can you sell shore excursions? Into what category can you sell it? Cruise lines, depending on their level, they either make a lot of money from shore excursions or they offer experience through shore excursions. So it's equally important, either on money or on the part of experience. I always say you need to fill in your own nautical port evaluation report, which is basically the report that all port operations people will request from you and has all the technical information in here. And obviously we need to understand that the cruise lines have three values: revenues, experience, and desirability of a destination. And what I say is that we need to balance this out as a destination, as a port, and work together, of course, with safety in mind, and create what I call the golden triangle. So the port, the city, and the authorities, and the cruise line work together to create an equilibrium and to work together to serve this purpose. You need to do your SWOT analysis, obviously, to understand where you stand. You need to do your trend analysis to see how many ships are coming in the area, new ships, and what are the itineraries, and we're talking post-COVID situation here. And this, to me, is important because from this, you will understand what are your next steps, where you need to invest money or time, and where your focus needs to be. In itinerary, just very quickly, you know, the itinerary decision-making, the itinerary planners, the sales and marketing, and the health officers nowadays, of course, and have influences of marine operations, port operations, sales, marketing, shore excursions. You need to understand the dynamics between these equations, and when you target the cruise lines, be able to service and has a very good presentation that will tick from the three decision-maker boxes. The port value, the desirability of your destination, the satisfaction rates that you get, and this is very important to understand that each time you had a call, the cruise lines are assessing your destination, and they get satisfaction are very important factors that will assist the cruise line's decision to come to your port or not. In terms of the itinerary decision-making, we say diversity on the itinerary, what will motivate the repeat cruisers to come, maximize the profit for the cruise lines, but also the cruise lines look to optimize the demand for the itinerary, minimize port expenses, and fuel consumption. Fuel costs are now something which all of us are looking, and maximize the onboard revenue generation. In terms of, if this moves forward, any cruise itinerary must satisfy a number of economic and operational criteria, sellability, suitability, source market, and other things. I'll go a bit quickly. Experiences. Experience is something we need to understand, the culture, the history, the adventures, and the gastronomy of your destinations into experiences to create what we call cruise tourism. It's very important in terms of you want to be resilient, you want to be moving forward in your destination. We need to create experiences based on the 5 senses, synchronize and have a systematic way to measure your actions, your projects, in terms of what they offer in the 5 senses. My company is called 5 Senses, so I could not just miss that opportunity to mention that. We need to work together as the port, the city, and the cruise lines, as I said very briefly. Excursion books are very important in terms of you as a destination to provide the right information to the cruise lines on what's available in your destination, and then let the cruise lines work with the travel agent, the tour operators to provide those excursions. A couple of slides about some more projects. The trust is back in the cruise industry. We've seen now CDC dropping all the measures in cruising, and this is very good. You need to be present in the big events in the industry to develop excursion expectations, to create common social media plans and promote. This is very important. LinkedIn is the king. LinkedIn is the king. Your cruise port, yourself as a cruise executive, or as someone need to be on LinkedIn. That's what I've seen. Think about the sustainability in the port and the destination, what projects you will offer in future. Shore power, recycling, LNG bunkering that will help you to secure a more green business in the future. And of course, seek the assistance of experts. You know, we don't know all. We're here to assist you. Finally, a communication plan that needs to be in place, and this is very important in the COVID and post-COVID era, between the local community, internal in terms of the port or the local authority, the health authorities, the cruise lines, and the ports in the itinerary. This is so important because when you communicate your procedures or your cases or what you have, this will solve many problems before they get created. That's what I have found in the last 2 years. Thank you so much, and sorry I took some extra time.